Good evening, everyone. This is Prashasti Pandey, PhD scholar and PMR Fellow from Department of Botany, Banaras Hindu University, and I'll be taking the live sessions for this course, Introduction to Biostatistics, whose course instructor is Professor Shamik Singh from IIT Bombay. And we'll be taking live sessions here, and we will be solving questions, previous year's assignment questions, which will help you to understand the kind of questions that are given in these year's assignments, and you will be able to solve them easily. So I will give you a question on screen. I'll give you 2 3 minutes. You can try solving it. If you know the answer, you can say it out loud, or you can write it in the chat box, and then we can go through the concept and then try to solve the question. Okay. So with that, let's start with our first question. Okay. So your first question is, which of the following statements is true for mode as a measure of central tendency? Your options are: it is the most frequent value
Value
in a
in a
given
given
data
data
set.
set.
It
It
is the
is the
average of
average of
the
the
lowest
lowest
and
and
highest
highest
value
value
in a
in a
given
given
data
data
set.
set.
It is
It
the
is the
least
least
frequent
frequent
value in
value
a
in a
given
given
data
data
set,
set,
and it
and it
lies in
lies
the
in the
middle of
middle
a
of a
given
given
data
data
set.
set.
I'll
I'll
give you
give you
two
two
minutes. You
minutes,
can
you
try
can try
solving it.
solving it.
So let's try to understand what mode is. So there are three concepts in statistics. The first one is mean, which is also called as the average value. Okay. So average value is a measure of central tendency that represents a typical value of a data set. So it can be calculated by summing up all the values and dividing it by number of values in the data set. Okay. So now based on this, the formula for mean will be sum of all values divided by number of all values, which is called as the mean. So now if we take an example and if we have a data set of these five values, 4, 7, 10, 5, and 9, to calculate the mean, we will just have to add 4 plus 7 plus 10 plus 5 plus 9 and divide it by, so and here is 5. So we will just divide it by 5. It will come to 35 divided by 5, which is equal to 7. So your 7 will be the mean of this data set. Okay. Similarly, there is another measure of central tendency, which is called as median. Now, median represents the middle value of the data set. So when your data is arranged in either ascending order or descending order, the exact middle value of that entire data set will be called as the median. So basically, the median value will divide the data set into two equal halves. But for that, it is important that the data is arranged in some order. It can be either or it can be either ascending or it can be descending. Now to calculate the median, it is very simple. You just need to arrange the number in order from smallest to largest or from largest to smallest. And if the data set has odd number of values, then the median will be exact middle value. But if the data set has even numbers, then in that case, the median will be average of the two middle values. Okay, so that's how median is calculated. And the third central, and so okay, so example, let's take an example to study median. So for one example, when the data set is 357 and there are, so your n is 3, which is an odd value. Okay, so then in that case, the median will be 5, which was easy to calculate. But when there is, for example, 2, when there is 4, when n equals to 4, which is an even value, then in that case, to calculate your median, you will have to sum up the middle two values and divide it by 2, which is 4 plus 6 by 2, and the answer is 5 in this case. So your median value for even data set in this example will be 5. So median is usually useful when the data set contains an outlier because your median is not affected by extremely high or extremely low values. But the mean is, because mean will take into consideration of all the values in that particular data set. And if there are any outliers in that data set, if there's any value which is extremely high or extremely low, will move the mean value accordingly in that direction. But alternatively, the median value will not get affected because regardless of how high the value is, it will always attain the same position when arranged in any of the orders, and therefore your median value will not change. So median will give a better sense of dataset's central location in such cases where the outliers are too much or the chances of extremities is very high. And the third measure of central tendency is called as mode, and mode basically represents the number which is most frequently represented in any data set. Okay, so basically a data set can have either one mode, which is called as unimodal. It can also have more than one mode, which is if it has two modes, it is called bimodal, and if it has more than two modes, it is called as multimodal. Also, there are chances that the data has no mode. So if any data has no repetitions or all the values are equal number of times repeated, then in that case there will be no single data set value which will have most frequency, and therefore there will be no mode in such kind of data sets. Now, mode is usually very useful in identifying most common or most popular value in a data set. So now there is one example, coming to our example for mode. If the data set has 2, 3, 3, 5, 7 values, then in this case, 3 has appeared twice. So your three number will be the mode for this. And for example, 2, when the values are 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4. So you see here that 2 has also appeared twice and so has 3. So this kind of data set will have 2 and 3 both as modes. And this data is called as a bimodal data set because it has two mode values. Okay. And your mode is very helpful for categorical data for understanding that which value is most popular in any kind of data set. Now, coming back to our question, if we review all the options very carefully in context of mode, then your options were it is most frequent value in the given data set, which is true because the definition of mode is the value that appears most frequently in any data set. Then your second option is that it is the average of the lowest or the highest value of the given data set. No, this is wrong. Third is it is least frequent value. It is the exact opposite of this. And the fourth one is it lies in the middle of the data set. No, because that is median. So your correct option is option A from this. Okay. This option is correct. That is the most frequent value in any given data set. And let's move on to our second question. Find the arithmetic mean for the given data set. Minus 5, minus 1, 0, 3, 8, 14, and 16. Okay, so let's try to solve this question. So the question asked about calculating the arithmetic mean of the following values, and this is our given data set. So now we have learned that the formula of calculating mean is sum of all values divided by number of values. Okay. Okay. So
So
that
that
means we
means we
just
just
need to
need to
add
add
all
all
these
these
things.
things.
And if
And
we
if we
add
add
minus
minus
5
5
plus
plus
minus
minus
1
1
plus
plus
0
0
plus
plus
3
3
plus
plus
8
8
plus
plus
14
14
plus
plus
16,
16,
the
the
sum
sum
value
value
is
is
35.
35.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So
now we
now we
have the
have the
sum
sum
value
value
as
as
35.
35.
And if
And
we
if we
see
see
the
the
number
number
of
of
values
values
in
in
this
this
data
data
set,
set,
it's
it's
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
and
and
7.
7.
So now
So
we
now we
just
just
need to
need to
divide
divide
35
35
by
by
7,
7,
and the
and the
answer
answer
is
is
5.
5.
So the
So the
correct
correct
answer to
answer to
arithmetic
arithmetic
mean
mean
of this
of this
data
data
set will
set
be
will be
5.
5.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So
option
option
C in
C
this
in this
question is
question is
correct.
correct.
Now
Now
let's
let's
move
move
on to
on
our
to our
next
next
question.
question.
The
The
daily
daily
temperature
temperature
maximum
maximum
recorded in
recorded in
Celsius in
Celsius
a
in a
city
city
for a
for a
week
week
is
is
as
as
follows:
follows:
33,
33,
34,
34,
34,
34,
33,
33,
33,
33,
32,
32,
32.
32.
What is
What
the
is the
average
average
temperature
temperature
maximum for
maximum for
this
this
week?
week?
The
The
options are
options are
32,
32,
33,
33,
34, and
34, and
35.
35.
Okay, so
So
let's try
let's try
solving
solving
this
this
question.
question.
So the
So the
data set
dataset
values that
values
were
that were
given were
given were
34,
34, 30,
33,
33,
34,
34,
34,
34,
33,
33,
32,
33,
32, and
32, and
32.
32.
Now
Now
the
the
question
question
was
was
asking
asking
to
to
calculate the
calculate the
average
average
temperature.
temperature. So
Average,
average,
that
that
means it
means
is
it is
asking us
asking
to
us to
calculate the
calculate the
mean
mean
value of
value
the
of the
data set.
data set.
So
So
now
now
to
to
calculate the
calculate the
mean
mean
values, we
values, we
just
just
need
need
to
to
sum
sum
all the
all the
values
values
in
in
this
this
data set.
data set.
And if
And
we
if we
do the
do the
addition,
addition,
then the
then the
value
value
comes
comes
to
to
231.
231.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
And then
to
to
calculate the
calculate the
average, we
average, we
also
also
need to
need
know
to
the
know the
number of
number of
values in
values
the
in that
data
data
set. So
set.
in
So in
this
this
case,
case,
it's
it's
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
and
and
7.
7.
So to
So to
calculate the
calculate the
average, we
average,
will
we will
have to
have to
divide
divide
231
231
by
by
7,
7,
and
and
that
that
is
is
33.
33.
So
So
the
the
correct
correct
answer to
answer to
this
this
question
question
is
is
that the
that the
average
average
temperature
temperature
maximum
maximum
for
for
that
that
week's
week's
recorded
recorded
temperature
temperature
in a
in a
city will
city will
be
be
33.
33.
Option
Option
B
B
is
is
correct.
correct.
So
So
let's
let's
move on
move
to
on
our
to our
next
next
question.
question.
In a
In a
given
given
population of
population of
animals,
animals,
70%
70%
individuals are
individuals are
female,
female,
while
while
30%
30%
are
are
male.
male.
If the average weight of females is 20 and that of males is 30, what is the average weight of all the individuals in a given population? I'll give you 2 minutes, you can try solving it. Okay, so let's solve
Solve
this
this
question.
question.
So the
So the
values
values
that are
that are
given is
given is
that
set
70%
70%
of
of
females
females
and
and
30% of
30% of
males.
males.
Okay, so
Okay, so
70%
70%
means
means
0.7 and
0.7 and
30% means
30% means
0.3.
0.3.
The
The
average
average
height of
height of
females is
females is
given
given
as
as
20 and
20
the
and the
average
average
height of
height of
males is
males is
given
given
as
as
30.
30.
Okay,
Okay,
so the
so the
question is
question is
asking
asking
that
that
what is
what
the
is the
average
average
weight of
weight of
all the
all the
individuals in
individuals
the
in the
given
given
population.
population?
Okay, the
Okay, the
question is
question is
asking
asking
what is
what
the
is the
average
average
weight of
weight of
all the
all the
given
given
weight
weight
of
of
all the
all the
individuals in a
individuals in a
given
given
population.
population?
So
So
now,
now,
to
to
calculate this,
calculate this,
first we
first we
need to
need to
calculate the
calculate the
contributions
contributions
in the
in the
weight
weight
by
by
females and
females and
contribution by
contribution by
males.
males.
So to
So to
calculate that,
calculate
if
that,
we are
if we are
saying
saying
that
that
0.7%
0.7%
of
of
female
female
and
and
0.3% of
0.3% of
male,
male,
then the
and the
average weight
average
is
weight is
20
20
for
for
females.
females,
Then in
then in
that
that
case,
case,
the
the
contribution for
contribution for
females will
females will
be
be
0.7
0.7
into
into
20,
20,
which
which
is
is
14,
14,
and by
and by
males
males
is
is
0.3
0.3
into
into
30,
30,
which
which
is
is
9.
9.
So
So
now
now
to
to
calculate the
calculate the
total
total
weight, we
weight, we
just
just
need to
need to
add
add
all of
all of
this,
this,
which
which
is
is
9
9
plus
plus
14,
14,
which
which
equals to
equals to
23.
23.
Okay.
Okay.
So the
So the
correct
correct
answer is
answer is
23.
23.
That
That
means your
means your
option
option
C to
C
this
to this
question is
question is
correct.
correct.
So now
So now
let's move
let's
on
move
to our
on to our
next
next
question.
question.
A
A
student
student
tested a
tested a
virtual
virtual
coin
coin
flip
flip
program to
program to
ensure
ensure
it
it
was
was
fair.
fair.
The
The
program
program
reported
reported
heads
heads
24
24
times
times
and
and
tails
tails
26
26
times.
times.
What is
What
the
is the
relative
relative
frequency of
frequency
a
of a
coin
coin
landing
landing
on
on
tails?
tails?
Your
Your
options are
options are
24 by
24 by
50,
50,
25 by
25 by
50,
50,
24 by
24 by
26,
26,
26 by
26 by
50.
50.
Okay, now to solve this kind of question,
The
the
question
question
said
said
that
that
when
when
we
we
flip a
flip a
coin,
coin,
the
the
chances of
chances of
heads
heads
is
is
24
24
times
times,
and the
and the
chances
chances
of
of
tails
tails
is
is
26
26
times.
times.
That
That
means
means
total
total
number of
number of
flips will
flips
be
will be
26
26
plus
plus
24,
24,
which
which
equals
equals
to
to
50.
50.
Okay.
Okay.
So now
So
the
now the
question is
question is
asking
asking
about
about
find the
find the
relative
relative
frequency
frequency that
tails will
tails will
come
come
as a
as a
flip.
flip.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
it is
it
very
is very
simple. The
simple. The
frequency of
frequency of
number of
number of
tails
tails
was
was
26
26
times. So
times.
we'll
So you
just
just
divide
divide
26
26
out of
out of
50.
50.
We'll tell
Will
you
tell
the
you the
frequency of
frequency of
number of
number of
tails,
tails,
and
and
your
your
answer is
answer is
26 by
26 by
50.
50.
So your
So your
option
option
D is
D is
correct.
correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
our
our
next
next
question is
question is
given
given
below is
below
the
is the
radical
radical
length in
length in
centimeters
centimeters
of
of
seedlings
seedlings
measured for
measured
a
for a
seed
seed
germination
germination
study.
study.
What is
What
the
is the
average
average
radical
radical
length?
length?
To,
Okay.
to
To
solve
solve
this
this
question,
question,
it's
it's
very
very
simple. We
simple. We
just need
just
to
need to
calculate the
calculate the
average,
average,
and we
and we
just
just
have
have
to
to
add
add
all the
all the
values.
values.
And
And
if
if
you
you
do the
do a
summation of
summation of
all
all
these
these
values,
values,
the
the
answer is
answer is
52.5
52.5
centimeter.
centimeter.
And
And
there
there
are
are
29
29
values in
values
this
in this
entire
entire
data
data
set.
set.
So
So
now we
now we
just have
just
to
have to
calculate the
calculate the
average,
average,
which
which
will
so will
mean
mean
will be
will be
equal
equal
to
to
52.5
52.5
divided
divided
by
by
29.
29.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So 52.9
52.9
divided by
divided by
29 will be
approximately
approximately
1.81.
1.81.
So your
So your
answer
answer
is
is
1.8,
1.8,
which is
which is
option
option
C.
C.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
our
our
next
next
question is,
question is,
which of
which
the
of the
following
following
statements on
statements
the
on the
measures of
measures of
central
central
tendency is
tendency is
correct?
correct?
Option
Option
A,
A,
mean is
mean
not
is not
affected by
affected by
outliers.
outliers.
Option B,
Option B,
mode
mode
can be
can be
used
used
reliably for
reliably for
small
small
data
data
sets.
sets.
C,
C,
median is
median is
less
less
sensitive to
sensitive to
outliers.
outliers.
And
And
D,
D,
mean,
mean,
median,
median,
and
and
mode
mode
can
can
lie
lie
outside the
outside the
minimum and
minimum and
maximum
maximum
values in
values
a
in a
data
data
set.
set. Okay.
So
So
again,
again,
in this
in this
question, let's
question,
go
let's
back
go
to
back to
understanding
understanding
the
the
concept of
concept of
mean,
mean,
median,
median,
and
and
mode
mode
that we
that
have
we have
already.
already. Okay.
So
So
we have
we have
already
already
understood this
understood this
concept in the
concept in the
first
first
question,
question,
but
but
let's
let's
go
go
through it
through it
again.
again.
Mean is
Mean is
also known
also
as
called as
arithmetic
arithmetic
mean, and
mean,
it
and it
is the
is the
average of
average of
all the
all the
data
data
points
points
in the
in the
data
data
set,
set.
and it
And
is
it is
calculated by
calculated by
summing all
summing
the
all the
values
values
and then
and then
dividing it
dividing
by
it by
total
total
number of
number of
values.
values.
Median, on
Median,
the
on
other
the other
hand, is
hand,
the
is the
middle
middle
value
value
of
of
an
an
ordered
ordered
data
data
set,
set,
and it
and
will
it will
divide the
divide the
data
data
into
into
two
two
equal
equal
halves.
halves.
And
And
if the
if the
number of
number
data
of data
points is
points is
odd, in
odd,
that
in that
case,
case,
median will be
median
the
will be the
exact
exact
middle
middle
value.
value.
Whereas
Whereas
if
if
the
the
number of
number of
data
data
points is
points is
even,
even,
in that
in
case,
that
it
case,
will
it
be
will
the
be the
average of
average of
two
two
middle
middle
values.
values.
Mode
Mode
will
will
be the
be the
value
value
that
that
occurs
occurs
most
most
frequently in
frequently
a
in a
data
data
set.
set.
So
So
now,
now,
according to
according
our
to our
question,
question,
if
if
mean
mean
is
is
not
not
affected by
affected by it
it says
says
that
that
mean is
mean is
not
not
affected by
affected by
outliers. So
outliers.
it
So
will be
it
a
will be a
wrong
wrong
question
question
because
because
mean is
mean is
highly
highly
sensitive.
sensitive.
As I
As
have
I
previously
previously
also
also
mentioned, that
mentioned,
mean
that mean
becomes
becomes
highly
highly
sensitive to
sensitive to
extreme
extreme
values,
values.
and if
And
the
if the
values
values
are
are
outliers,
outliers,
then in
then in
that
that
case,
case,
that
that
will
will
cause a
cause a
skewness in
skewness
the
in the
data, and
data,
that
and that
skewness will
skewness
be
will be
very
very
significant.
significant.
Second
Second
option was
option was
mode
mode
can be
can be
used
used
reliably for
reliably for
small
small
data
data
sets.
sets.
So this
So
will
this will
also be
also be
wrong
wrong
because in
because
case
in
of
case of
small
small
data
data
sets, the
sets, the
mode
mode
can be
can be
misleading.
misleading.
Okay,
Okay,
especially if the
especially if the
values are
values are
occurring
occurring
with
with
similar
similar
frequencies or
frequencies
there
or
is
there
no
is no
repetition.
repetition.
In
In
that case,
that case,
mode will
mode will
not be
not
able
be
to
able to
reliably in
reliably
a
in a
small
small
data
data
set
set
tell that
tell
which
that which
value is
value is
most
most
frequently
frequently
occurring.
occurring.
Median
Median
is less
is less
sensitive to
sensitive to
outlier.
outlier.
Yes,
Yes.
median
Median
is less
is less
sensitive to
sensitive to
outlier
outlier
because
because
median
median
value
value
does
does
not
not
change with
change
the
with the
presence
presence
because of the presence
presence
of
of
any
any
kinds of
kinds of
outliers.
outliers.
And the
And the
fourth
fourth
option
option
was
was
mean,
mean,
median, and
median,
mode
and
can
mode
lie
can lie
outside the
outside the
minimum and
minimum and
maximum
maximum
value in a
value in
data
a
set.
data set.
So
So
no,
no.
ideally,
Ideally,
all the
all the
values
values
mean,
mean,
median,
median,
and
and
mode
mode
should
should
lie
lie
within the
within the
range of
range
the
of the
dataset
dataset
values, and
values,
it
and it
cannot
cannot
lie
lie
outside. That
outside.
is
That
by
is
the
by the
definition. So
definition.
no,
So
this
no, this
option is
option
wrong.
is wrong.
So in
So
this
in this
case,
case,
your
your
option
option
C is
C is
correct, that
correct, that
median is
median
less
is less
sensitive to
sensitive to
outliers.
outliers.
Okay.
Okay.
A
A
research team
research
is
team is
studying the
studying
role
the
of
role of
light
light
on a
on a
motility of
motility of
IV.
IV.
Given
Given
below are
below
the
are the
cell
cell
speed
speed
in
in
micrometer per
micrometer per
second
second
obtained at
obtained
the
at
end
the
of the
end of the
experiment.
experiment.
Calculate the
Calculate the
median
median
speed.
speed.
Okay.
Okay,
To
to
solve this
solve this
question,
question,
we know
we
the
know the
formulas
formulas
for
for
arithmetic
arithmetic
mean,
mean,
median,
median,
and
and
mode.
mode.
Now,
Now,
the
the
question
question
is
is
asking
asking
about
about
calculate the
calculate the
median.
median.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
obviously to
obviously to
calculate the
calculate the
median
median
speed, we
speed,
need
we
to
need to
sort the
sort the
data in
data
any
in
form.
any form.
Either it
Either
can
it
be
can be
ascending or
ascending or
descending.
descending.
So in
So
this
in this
case,
case,
it
it
is
is
in
in
ascending order.
ascending
That
order.
is
That
from
is
the
from the
lowest
lowest
value, which
value,
is
which is
110, to
110, to
highest value,
highest
which
value,
is
which is
190.
190.
So now
So now
there are
there are
total
total
1, 2,
1, 2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8,
8,
9,
9, and
10
10
values.
values.
And now
And now
10
10
values is
values
an
is an
even
even
number. So
number.
if
So
it
if
would
it
have
would
been an
have been an
odd
odd
number,
number,
then in
then
that
in
case,
that case,
exact
exact
middle
middle
value would
value
have
would
been
have
the
been the
median.
median.
But now,
But now,
since the
since the
number is
number is
even, we
even,
need
we
to
need
use
to
the
use the
formula for
formula
the
for the
median, which
median,
is
which is
the
the
average of
average
the
of the
middle two
middle two
values.
values.
Now, in
Now,
this
in this
case,
case,
when we
when we
calculate the
calculate the
to
so to
calculate the
calculate the
middle
middle
value,
value,
we need
we
to
need to
calculate the
calculate the
half the
half the
middle two
middle two
values.
values.
So your
So your
n
n
here
here
is
is
10.
10.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
one will
one
be
will
n
be
by
n
2
by 2
value,
value
and the
and the
others will
others
be
will be
n by
n by
2
2
plus
plus
1
1
value,
value,
and this
and
whole
this
will
whole
be
will be
divided by
divided by
2 to
2 to
calculate the
calculate the
average.
average.
So
So
n is
n
2,
is
that
2,
means
that
it
means
will
it
be
will be
fifth
fifth
value
value
plus
plus
sixth
sixth
value
value
divided by
divided by
2.
2.
So in
So
this
in
case,
this
our
case,
fifth
our
value
fifth
is
value is
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5.
5.
It is
It is
140,
140,
and n
and
plus
n
1
plus 1
value will
value
be
will be
150.
150.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
this will
this
be
will be
140
140
plus
plus
150
150
divided by
divided
2,
by 2,
which is
which is
equal to
equal to
290
290
divided by
divided by
2,
2,
which is
which is
equal to
equal to
145.
145.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
this is
this
your
is your
correct
correct
answer.
answer.
So
So your
option C
option
is
C is
correct.
correct.
Now the
Now the
next
next
question
question
is,
is,
okay.
okay.
So if
So
there
if
is
there
any
is any
doubt in
doubt
this
in this
first
first
question,
question, first
live
live
session,
session,
you can
you can
ask me,
ask me,
or
or
if there is
if
any
there is any
suggestions by
suggestions by
which will
which will
help us
help
to
us to
continue
continue
forward
forward
for the
for
next
the next
sessions,
sessions,
please let
please
me
let
know,
me know,
or else
or
we'll
else
end
we'll
the
end the
session.
session.